Okay, let's get right into it. We're talking about one of the biggest frustrations on X, why your posts seem to get zero reach. We're going to break down 10 of the most common mistakes that might be secretly killing your growth, and more importantly, we're going to show you exactly how to fix them. You ever feel like you're posting into a black hole? You know, you write what you think is a great post, you hit send, and then crickets. It's a super common feeling. But what if the problem isn't some big, mysterious algorithm out to get you? What if it's just your own daily habits? Look, it is so easy to blame a shadow ban. But the truth is, the real culprit is usually just a series of small, totally controllable mistakes that we all make. And you know what? That's actually great news, because it means you have all the power to fix it. And here's the challenge for you. This isn't about some long, drawn-out strategy. The promise is pretty simple. If you consciously stop doing these things for just 2 weeks, you will see a real improvement. Honestly, that sounds like a challenge worth taking, right? First step, let's talk about your content. What you actually post is, without a doubt, the foundation for everything. Let's dive into the 5 big ways people tend to get this wrong. So, mistake number 1, hitting that quote post button way too often. To the algorithm, this can just look lazy, like you don't have your own original ideas. The platform wants content that starts conversations, not just shares links. So the takeaway here is absolutely crucial. If you're going to quote post, you have to add some real, meaningful insight of your own. Otherwise, a simple screenshot, like the slide says, will almost always do better. And right on the heels of that is mistake number 2, just too many reposts. This is especially bad for smaller accounts. When the algorithm is trying to figure out who you are, a timeline that's just full of other people's stuff, it just screams bot. The fix is so simple. Just prioritize your own original content. Seriously, even a simple one-liner thought is more valuable than another repost. Now, this next one, I know, it goes against a lot of that old school social media advice you've probably heard. Stop using hashtags. On X today, they're pretty much obsolete. The algorithm is now so smart that it understands the context of your post just from the words you use. So instead of slapping on hashtag marketing at the end, just write a sentence that naturally uses the word marketing. It works so much better. Are you posting about tech 1 minute, then cooking the next, and maybe some politics after that? Well, that lack of focus is mistake number 4, having no clear niche. When your content is all over the place, you're just confusing the algorithm. It has no idea who to show your posts to. So in the end, it just shows them to nobody. And this chart right here, this is a perfect picture of what that confusion looks like from the algorithm's point of view. Your profile is just scattered. Now look, you don't have to be a one-trick pony, but you do have to train the algorithm. So what's the fix? Post about your main topic, the thing you really want to be known for, at least once a day. That's how you build a reputation and give the algorithm a really clear signal. The final content mistake is treating X like it's your personal diary, just posting a statement that ends the conversation before it even has a chance to start. You have to remember, the name of the game is engagement. The more conversations you can get going in your replies, the more visibility you're going to get. So always try to frame your posts to get a response, ask a question, give people a real reason to talk back to you. Okay, so let's say you've fixed your content. That's awesome. But that's only half the battle. Now we've got to talk about interaction mistakes. It's not just what you post, it's how you engage with everyone else that really, really matters. Mistake number 6 is tagging a whole bunch of people in your posts. This is classic bot behavior, stuff like follow for follow schemes. Tagging more than one account can immediately cause the algorithm to throttle your reach. So the rule is simple: maximum of 1 relevant tag per post. That's it. Aw man, we have all done this. That quick lol or same reply. But these one-word comments are an absolute killer for your reach. They get flagged as low effort, low quality, and again, it makes you look like a bot. They do absolutely nothing for your account's reputation. Instead, just take an extra 30 seconds. Leave a thoughtful, multi-sentence reply. I promise you it makes a huge difference. This one should be obvious, but it's worth saying because we know the algorithm is looking for what it calls a high toxicity flag. If your tone is always aggressive or hostile, or you're just yelling at people in all caps, your visibility will get directly penalized. You can be bold, you can disagree with people for sure, but you can't be hateful. All right, let's zoom out now and look at the final piece of the puzzle, your profile itself. You can have amazing content and fantastic interactions, but if your profile isn't set up the right way, all that effort can just go to waste. Here's something you might not have even thought about. The number of people you follow directly affects how much authority your account has. Following thousands more people than follow you can be a major red flag to the algorithm. So what's the sweet spot? Well, this chart lays it out perfectly. The goal is to follow roughly 60% of your follower count. So if you have 1,000 followers, like you see in that first bar, you should be aiming to follow around 600 people, just like in the second bar. It's a really simple way to signal that you're a creator, not just a consumer. And that brings us to our final mistake, having an unprimed profile. Think about it. Someone discovers one of your great posts, they click on your name to learn more, and then they just leave without following. All that hard work you did creating content and engaging is for nothing if your profile doesn't seal the deal. You really need to think of your profile as a 3-part branding machine. What's your banner's job? To grab their attention. What's your bio's job? To convert that stranger by telling them exactly why they should follow you. And your pinned post? Its job is to position your brand and show off your absolute best work. All 3 of these things have to work together. So we've covered the 10 biggest mistakes killing people's reach. What does this all boil down to? What's the real path to growth here? Ultimately, it really comes down to this. There is no secret hack or magic button you can press for explosive growth. Real, sustainable reach comes from breaking these bad habits and replacing them with consistent, thoughtful actions, day in and day out. It's about being an intentional creator, not just a passive user. And that leaves us with one final, really important question for you. Looking back at this list of 10 habits, which one are you going to focus on breaking first? Just pick one, commit to it for 2 weeks, and see what happens. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching.